As you all know, Kyle Manno has been with us since February. This is his last weekend with us. He's going to go off to Honduras, El Salvador, and then back to the seminary. And you'll probably see him informally here or there. But Monsignor wanted him to speak at all the Masses, so it's sort of his swan song. On my part, speaking for Father Simon, Monsignor's not here, what a joy it has been to be with this guy. What a gifted young man he is. And I hope all young... Thank you. Thank you. I hope all young men who hear my voice, all men who aren't married, and women, consider of a life of service, full service to the church and God's people. He's going to talk about that a little bit in his little reflection here. So without any further ado, I was going to call him Father. Kyle, come say a few words.
So happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
So as Father Jerome said, yes, this is my last weekend here at the parish. I've loved being here. It's been incredible. And the first thing I want to do is thank the Academy. Thank you very much. Director of the Co-Stars, thank you. Appreciate it all. But no, I really do want to thank the people. You guys are incredible. This is an oasis in the diocese. You have a gem here with these stellar priests, the people of God. This parish is on fire. I just love it so much. And I know for me in my own self, like, I've never had parish experience. Since I started seminary, my summers were either totus tuus, teaching, or being on a Spanish immersion. So this is really my first tangible experience of what the life of a priest is. We don't get that. When you sign up, you pray, you feel called, and then you just go. You just go to school and you have no idea what's in store for you. And really coming to the parish is really where I discovered what it is to live like a priest with these incredible men. And so I'm so blessed. Thank you so much. Each priest has taught me so much. One big thing I'm going to miss is from Father Simon is the fact that our two rooms are next to each other and we share a wall. And now I'm not sure if the wall's made of paper or what it is. It's very thin. But I'm going to miss waking up at 2 a.m. to Father Simon on the phone to Nigeria, speaking loudly in some foreign language that I don't understand. So I'll miss that from Father Simon. But truly, Father Simon has taught me a lot. His one ministry he's incredible at is ministering to sick and those who are suffering. He's incredible at it. A great little story was, we had Sunday Masses, and then a couple months ago there was an RCIA party afterwards. So we had all-day events, and the next day, Father Simon had mentioned that he had gone to visit somebody in the hospital that same day. And I said, how is that possible? You had Mass all morning, then we had a party till the evening. When did you go see them? And he said, I went around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was like, whoa, like, after your whole day was over, you went and ministered to someone in the hospital. Because he has like a special gift to minister to those people. So he really taught me through his life, what he does as a priest, to never forget those who are suffering, those who are sick, those who are in the nursing homes. Never forget them. They're crucial. They suffer with our Lord, and they help purify ourselves. So he taught me that. Because really, I think I've gotten holier being here at St. Thomas. Especially living with the priests. I've gotten much holier. It's incredible. And of course, Father Jerome. He's taught me so much. Look at him. He's great. He's taught me so much. Father Jerome, we were joking about this yesterday. Father, loves the priesthood. No joke. I don't know if you can tell, but this man loves the priesthood. He would die for the Eucharist. He would die a martyr. He totally would. He loves the priesthood. He loves the people of God. He loves the sacraments. But one thing Father does not love is manual labor. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. Okay, there's a good little quote. These hands are made for chalices, not calluses. Okay? So Father doesn't like it. But a great little story was yesterday, we were sitting at the breakfast table, myself, Father Jerome, Monsignor Hermes, having our coffee. And we have a Hinkley system in the house to have water. And the water ran out, and Father Jerome changed the water. Later that day, we had a bunch of guys come over for a discernment vocation barbecue, guys discerning the priesthood. Father Jerome took out the trash. Not only did he take it up, but Monsignor Hermes told me he was standing in the hallway, like pointing at Monsignor and pointing to the trash, like, check it out, I'm taking it out, you know? And then later that day, he filled the dishwasher. And so if none of you believe in miracles, I saw one yesterday. I saw a true miracle. God is so good. But truly, Father Jerome has really taught me one beautiful thing that I will always take with me, and one day it's going to carry me through all my priesthood, is joy. We all know in this room that Father Jerome is full of joy. He loves the priesthood, and he does it with utmost joy. And so I thank you, Father, because you really taught me that. You taught me that if I stay close to prayer, stay close to sacraments, especially the Eucharist, I'll be full of joy. And that's a blessing. I've never had so much fun in a house with priests before. It is a blast over there. It's crazy. And then Monsignor Hermes, he's taught me really, you know Monsignor Hermes, he's like a father. He's taught me what it means to embrace that title, Father. He's just a great man. And a great way to kind of show this is I remember Good Friday when we come down for the veneration of the cross. The cross is there, people come up, kiss it, genuflect before it. I remember for me it was very beautiful because I remember saying to Monsignor, like, you know, some of these people I've got to talk to, they've let me enter their lives, which has been a huge blessing. I said, as I walk up, I kind of like know, like, oh, I've talked to you before. I kind of know what your cross is. And Monsignor Hermes said, you know, the longer you're at a parish, the more you know those. And he said, when I'm there, the veneration of the cross, and people come forward, he said, I know a lot of them. And I said, I know their suffering. I know their cross, and their cross, and their cross, and their suffering. And that's what a father does. He listens to your sufferings, he sees your crosses, and he endures them with you. He helps guide you. He's a father to you. That's really what he's taught me. These priests have taught me so much. So I thank them. I thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be here, enter your lives. Some of you meet with you one-on-one. Be present for some of your wakes. Give reflections at the wakes. Thank you so much. God is so good. He's good all the time. And so I couldn't imagine any better place to come be formed, except for here, St. Thomas. Another great thing I learned was about a couple, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was reading over the gospel because Monsignor Hermes lets me preach, give a reflection Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Mass. So 4 days a week I got to give reflections, go to the hospitals, go visit people, work. I taught in the school, a lot of different ministries. And so one night I'm reading the gospel while brushing my teeth on my iPhone. Great way to read the gospel, I guess. So here I am brushing my teeth, and of course my iPhone fell in the sink. I was like, oh, that's not good. And so of course my iPhone broke, didn't work anymore. So I went to get a new one. I went to Sprint, got a new phone. And I've always had this fear that I'll accidentally bring my phone to Mass, and then my phone will go off. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to be that guy, where everyone's like, wants to look back, but they want to be rude, but they totally want to know who it is. And so I always had this fear that my iPhone or my phone would go off during Mass. And so when I got the new phone, my ringtone was a song. It's called Bangarang. If any of you know it, it's like a dubstep, like rock song by a band Skrillex. Totally doesn't sound like it should be played in church. It's like a rock song. And so I had this fear, so I thought, I've got an idea. I know I can make my ringtone, so if it ever goes off during Mass, if I forget to silence it, I've got an idea. And so what I did now is if you ever call me and my phone's on sound, all you will hear is a recording of me coughing. That's my ringtone. If you text me, all you will hear is me sneezing. That's how I've overcome it. And the best part is, later that night when I first recorded it, I went to bed, and around 1 a.m., someone texted me. And I woke up and I was like, who's in my room? Who's sneezing? Who's in the bed? Who's under bed? Who is that? So if you do this, I recommend it. Be aware. You can wake up a little scared, okay? So God is so good. Actually, this last week, I've been gone. I went and did sign language. And I bring this up because I learned how to interpret the Mass in sign language, one of the ministries. And so from Monday last week until Friday, I didn't speak at all. Just did sign language. All day, all night, meals, our classes, just sign language. And so Monsignor Hermes thought it would be a good idea for my last weekend to speak at all the Masses to kind of make up for lost time from not speaking for a week. So I'm going to give a quick little reflection on the gospel, which we've heard before, the weeds and the wheat. In this imagery, of course, Christ is talking about like his second coming, like when he will separate the weeds from the wheat, the good from the bad, and bring wheat to heaven. But I think even more for us right now, why don't we bring that to what's in our heart and our soul? What are the weeds and the wheat of our lives inside of us? Because as human beings, we do good things, we strive for holiness, we plant good seeds. Wheat grows. Good things come to fruition. But then because of our brokenness, our temptations, we plant bad seeds. We commit sins. And the problem is because we're attached to so many sins, and each one of us knows that one sin that we really struggle with. Because we're attached to it, and instead of uprooting it and taking it out and saying, I don't want that sin, instead we kind of let it grow slowly because we kind of try to ignore it. So what are the weeds and wheats of our life, and how do we remove them? Because so often we are a mystery to ourselves. What do I mean by that? If you imagine whenever you take a picture, so you go on vacation, family picture, you go to a group with like 40 people, at this sign language thing I did at the end, we took a picture, 40 of us, big group picture. And whenever you get a picture, you see it in front of you or on Facebook, whatever it is, who's the first person you always look for in the picture? Yeah, you always look for yourself. Always. Even though you see yourself every day in the mirror, you know who you are, you look for yourself because in some way, we're a mystery to ourselves. We want to kind of know like who we are. Why is this? Because the whole spiritual life, our life here on earth, is this idea of shedding the old self and becoming a new creation in Christ. Becoming saints. And so the whole idea of mystery is, who did God make me to be? Who am I supposed to be? Because when we commit sin, that's not who we're called to be. When we lead holy lives, that's who we are. Mother Teresa, she became who she was supposed to be. A saint of God. And so John Paul II, he says, man will remain a mystery to himself if he does not give himself as a gift, a sacrificial gift to others out of love. If we do not give ourselves as a gift, a sacrificial gift out of love to others, we remain a mystery, and life has no meaning. A great example of this is mission trips. When Father Jerome comes back from Haiti, or someone goes to another, maybe Mexico, help the poor, or when you go to Tennessee and build houses for Habitat for Humanity. Whenever someone goes on a mission trip, they come back radiant. They're so full of joy. They're like, that was the best week of my life. I loved it. Why is that? It's because for a week, every moment of their waking time, they gave themselves. They made a sacrifice and gave themselves to someone else. And they found meaning. That is our purpose. That's what we're supposed to do, is give ourselves as a sacrificial gift out of love to others. And that's where we find out who we are, because only Jesus Christ reveals who you are, nothing else. TV doesn't reveal it, the newspaper doesn't reveal it. Only Christ does. So you have to ask yourself about every day, how am I giving myself as a gift to others? Whether you're a father and you give it totally to your kids, or a mother totally to your kids, or to your neighbor, or the coworker who's under stress, or your parent who's sick in the hospital, whoever it is, whatever it is, give yourself as a gift to others. And do it out of love. Because the Catechism says this great quote, it talks about the secret of God, which I'd love to know the secret of God. It'd be great. And it says the secret of God is that Jesus Christ came to this earth, and he revealed that the Trinity is an eternal exchange of love. That's the secret. Like there's a secret that the Trinity, what it is the Father loving the Son loving the Father, and loving the Holy Spirit, is this communion of love. And that's what God is. We must give that love, sacrificial gift. And secondly, how do we uproot those weeds? Is the Eucharist. So one, we uproot the weeds by not looking so much in, but looking out at others, giving ourselves. And secondly, the Eucharist. Why is this? Because only the Eucharist, the body, blood, soul, and divinity, will actually heal your wounds. You know, I really got to know this being with all of you. Because when I first started seminary, 4 years ago, I'm starting my 5th year, my 10th year of college. I've been in college for a long time. I want to finish. So when I first started seminary, I would ask priests. And I was super pumped to become a seminarian, which still super pumped about everything. But I remember I started seminary, and I would ask priests, like, Father, what's your favorite thing about being a priest? I'd ask him, I'd ask another priest, Father, what's your favorite thing about being a priest? I'd ask all these different priests individually, what's your favorite thing about being a priest? And every single one across the board said Mass. I've asked Father Jerome, it's Mass. I remember being a young seminarian, just starting thinking, really? Like, Mass is your favorite thing? Like, I was like, what about confession or preaching? Like, that sounds awesome. Like, isn't that your favorite thing? They're like, no, the Mass. And I started to discern this more, and as I've gone through seminary, I've understood this more and more and fell in love with the Mass. Why? Because being here, getting to know you, meet the people of God, I see a lot of crosses, I see a lot of suffering, and you know your cross. As soon as I say cross, you know in your mind, oh, I know exactly what my burden is. I know what my suffering is. I know what my sin is. I know I've got this difficulty. And why is the Mass so important? Because Father, seminarian, whoever can help you, give you advice, help guide you, but the only person who will actually heal your soul, help your suffering, bring meaning to your suffering is Jesus Christ. Nobody else. No one can do it except for Him. Only here at this altar can He change you, can He heal you. Only in that adoration chapel can He heal you. And I felt this very tangibly. I remember 2 years ago I was talking to this high school girl. She had a lot of suffering in her family. And after like an hour of talking to her, I basically finished with, there's a lot of suffering in the world. It might not go away. You need to just unite yourself to Christ. And I remember leaving the room like, oh gosh, maybe we need a motivational speaker. Like, that didn't help, you know? Like, I didn't feel like I helped at all. But what I realize is, it's only if Christ chooses to use those words. His words save souls, not mine. And only He can heal those wounds. And so I beg you, go to the adoration chapel. If you've never been, go. If you sit here at Mass and say, Kyle, I don't know what to do at Mass. I don't get anything out of it. What do you give to it? You must give to receive, so you must give to the Mass. What does that mean? Is when Father says, we unite my sacrifice and yours. What is your sacrifice? What is your suffering that you are bringing this to this altar? To the cross. Because only He heals. And the way you're going to find out who you are, uproot those weeds, plant good seeds, is in the chapel. So if you've never been to adoration, I encourage you to go. If you've been, you go once a week, go more. You can go every day. No one would disagree that going to talk to God is a bad thing. No one would disagree with that, right? So I encourage you, the best way to think about it is a little analogy compared to the first time going to Mass to going more often. I think of a young 16-year-old couple, first date, compared to an 80-year-old couple. So if you think of the 16-year-old couple, first date, they're going to go out somewhere. The boy's going to try to impress the girl. So he's going to go somewhere nice, somewhere fancy, a good, nice dinner. So of course he's going to go to around the clock. Okay? So they're going to sit down, and it's going to be very awkward. They don't really know each other, so they're going to try to get to know each other, right? So they're going to sit there, and it's going to be like, so, Julie, you play volleyball? Great. You like that, huh? Okay. You have siblings? How many? Great. Waiter, can we get some water, right? What else do you do? What are your hobbies? It's very awkward. You can imagine the scene, how uncomfortable it would be. If you're 16, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And so it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, because they don't know each other. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to not, like, be awkward. They're just trying to do it. You know, like, what do we do here? Then you look at the 80-year-old couple. They're definitely at around the clock, by the way. They're definitely there. And they're sitting there, and you see them. And for that hour of dinner, they might not even speak. They might not say a word to each other. Why is that? It's because they've been together for so long, 40, 50 years. I know you, you know me, you know my crosses, you know my sufferings, you know how I fail, you know what makes me happy. I know you, you know me. We just sit here and love each other. We don't need to fill this empty time with discussion because I just want to be with you. I just want to be in your presence. I just want to be near you. So we can just sit here, be quiet, and eat. Be together. And that's what our life is with Christ. It is a true relationship. You might go in that adoration chapel for the first time and say, it's awkward. I don't know what to say. What do I do? But I promise you, if you go more and more, grow closer to Him, sit before our actual God, you will eventually look back and you'll be like that 80-year-old couple sitting there. I look at him, he looks at me. I'm just in His presence. I give Him everything. He carries my cross, helps me carry it, relieves my burdens. So I encourage you, get to that chapel. If you're wondering, Kyle, what is the point of my life? The point of your life is to become a saint, so get in the chapel. That's what we all have, one universal call to become saints. And so when you come up here later and you receive the Eucharist, realize only He can heal you. Only He truly knows how you're broken. Only He can actually say, I know what you're feeling. As you receive Him, realize that it's not a metaphor. Right now it's bread and wine. Pretty soon, it will literally be the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. Actual God will be present before us. Then when He comes inside your being, realize that He heals you, and the God of the universe, divinity, goes inside your being and just infuses into every part of your life. Meditate on that. Realize that the actual God of the universe is going inside of you. And if you do that, if you live a life of sacrifice, a gift to others out of love, if you grow closer to the Eucharist, closer to God, receive Him, you'll become a saint and you'll set the world on fire. Amen.